Hello, good time zone. Oh no, I started talking and Susie's like, you want me? Hi, yes, I did not summon you. I said hello, and you came running from the other room. Alright. A little slower getting started. Okay, I didn't think this through, y'all. Which, like, is relatively normal, but also mildly frustrating. But hi, it's Thursday. This is the longest short week ever. Okay. Let's switch scenes. Do I have my just chatting camera set up correctly? For the most part. Oh, I should check how much. Is this gonna be a lot of light? It's fine. We'll turn this just a little bit. There we go. I realized that I got my box with hopefully. There's nothing else there, Susie. I shouldn't say hopefully, but definitely. This is so much bigger. So, I think we talked about it on stream. I'm sorry. Now I'm like distracted by this whole thing. This is way larger than I thought. For a toolbox. But there's a lot of cool things in here. This is nifty. I think I talked on it last stream. Susie did know that I said hi. Yeah, it came. First off, this is. I mean, like, it's not that large, but it's like a small toolbox size container of things. The box came in, and I wasn't able to get to it until a bit ago. So I'm like, well, now I want to be nosy and look at what this is. Coarse sanding disc, number whatever. Oh, some of these are marked. That's nice. With an owner's manual and everything. Oh, this is nice. Oh, there's so many things in here. Why did he have all of this stuff? I has Dremel. Like this, and it comes with the, or not comes with, he has one of the, what are they? Flexible shaft attachments, which are supposed to like make it a little easier to maneuver, I guess. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of reading up and watching videos about this. But I have all of the things, including extra things. Well, that's wild. And a bunch of little pieces in here. I think the biggest problem is gonna be figuring out what some of these are. But at least I have. Listen, this is a little extreme, but it's because it's multifunctional and he did not use it for sanding dice, obviously. But since he was willing to send it to me, I was willing to take it. And I just need to figure it all out. But yeah, this is a lot. Are you gonna close? I did not package it very well. I did not package this very well. Not consider the cables and closing it. Oh no! Not your AI Dove character. Oh. I kind of botched where all of this. Is this not? we go. I was like, is it not going to close all the way? No, I just don't know how to place things appropriately, especially cables. It's like one cable that just keeps getting in the way. It's like mostly closed. It's fine. It can go into the box and go to the side for now. But it came in. She reversed it 3 screens. So and then you probably still have other stuff that you're able to do. I feel that when my character hits someone else's, me, I don't. Fair? That is, oh no, that is what I wanted to click. Wow, I can't think. But yeah, so it's really funny because I'm getting like that in, and I'm not sure that I'll actually get to it until post Aresia. Which I'm gonna say this now because I don't see Melissa in here yet. I absolutely did not notice that one of the panels I'm doing, I'm moderating it. So I'm like, oh crap, I need to actually prep things as a moderator, because while I could just show up, hold on a second. Are you not working right now, captions? I would like you to be working. Ah, there we go. Well, I know at one point they were like, oh, things might shift. So basically my current plan is, I have some thoughts, and like mine's not going to be a ton of prep for the particular panel I'm on, because I feel like the conversation or like the way that the discussion will go from a first question will probably dovetail really easy into different topics. But I want to I have a couple questions written down that I think will be kind of like, if we need to get it moving along to a tangentially related topic, I can. Mostly just going to be like, hey, very excited for this, you know, I'll be your mod, yada, yada, yada. I have some other prep I need to do, like putting my character into D&D Beyond. I know I haven't done it yet, but I promise it's on my list. I'm most concerned about that just because I need to get it done and then make sure that I have like a character sheet or something I can easily access. Actually, that's what I need to do, and I still haven't booked a hotel because I'm a mess. But yes, so real quick, I'll just run through the things. 1, Aresia. Me realizing that I didn't ! Aresia. I can't reach the... Aha, there we go. I actually remembered this time more than like 3 days in advance to make a command with my schedule. I'm just a complete and utter human. Well, the thing that threw me off, so small Aresia aside, the thing that threw me off is I was like, I'm all set, we're gonna do all these things, and then I got a summons for jury duty for Monday. And I'm like, knowing my luck, I will get selected. Now, the bright side is Monday, which I did not realize, the 15th, is MLK Junior Day. So it's actually a holiday, and it means it is very unlikely that anything I get summoned for will be on Monday. And my first panel isn't until Friday night. So that's resolved. What I think I'm going to end up doing is, originally I was like, oh, I'll stay Friday through Sunday, take the train back, and then just train up for my midday Monday panel. And now I'm like, that sounds like maybe a lot of effort. If I haven't booked the hotel, like, I'm going to go look, and if it's not terrible, I might just book for the whole thing, and then it's fine. Anything that brings me joy is not a waste of time or money, should be my extra footnote there for my planner. But yes, I'm doing a variety of panels, including a live play with Cypher and Friends at Aresia next weekend in Boston. And So there's that. This is what is. I switched this over to the elevator playlist because it seems to get flagged less often by Twitch. But it's always wild. Yeah, for if you, I think you might have either. I feel like the one thing that's fun with Pirates All Influencer Wrestling is not just his commentary of the matches, but then the commentary by chat, especially when you're like, oh, that's my character. Oh, it's your character. We just beat each other up. But yes, if you, I don't remember, Cypher, if you were still in the on your ride or what the case may be. But yeah, my theme for this year was a comment that got quoted by a washi tape company, and I was like, this is real good, which is that anything that brings you joy is not a waste of time, which I think is really important when I think about things where I might spend an hour or two being entirely unproductive because I'm doing something that feels frivolous, and then, you know, screw productivity culture because I hate it. But yes, so that's my theme, and I was kind of like, the joy I'll get out of not having to deal with driving, to not have to deal with like taking the train back and forth multiple times and things. So I was like, you know what, it's worth it if I, you know. So that's next weekend. Next weekend is a reshow. So what that means is we're streaming tonight. We'll see. It's supposed to snow on Sunday, so maybe we're going to end up in a cozy Sunday stream just because I am like, oh no, snow. And then I need to book a room. I still haven't. I was going to book it, and then I was paranoid because of the jury duty summons. And now I'm like, oh wait, I need to do that. So maybe that's what I'll do after stream is done. So finally book a room. Just drop me a note, or can you just drop me a reminder on Discord, and I will get to it. I keep thinking of it when I'm in the middle of other things. Like I'm walking Susie and I'm like, I should book my hotel. I was in the shower, I should book my hotel. Streaming, I should book my hotel. But yes, so as of right now, I anticipate I will still have the usual Monday, Thursday stream next week, unless anything completely off the wall happens. I just thought of something. But, and that should be good for the rest. What time do you usually? It's somewhere between 10:30 and 11. We're not going to go super long tonight. So, because I need to actually be a functional adult this weekend. Not because I want to be a functional adult, but because I just have so many things to get done. But yeah, so stream will continue now. Despite what my title says, we're not doing this all of the quilts thing again. But I am finishing a quilt before next weekend. Which, Cypher, I will bring, if you want, I can bring things to pack it. Like, I have some nice little tissue paper, and we can make the package look all good for when it gets opened. But yeah, hey, Furwick, welcome in. All right, let's actually switch scenes over to crafting. And then we are going to adjust the camera. So I don't know how well this top-down look is really going to do. Adjust it just a little bit. But I wanted to try it. Unfortunately, I feel that the the little boom arm thing that I have it on right now is not very tall and doesn't have a lot of different angles. So as a result, it makes it a little challenging to adjust for the sewing machine, which obviously sits higher than what I was doing, say, the planner things. I have made a massive mistake, y'all, in that I was like, oh, I'll pick up some washi tape and some other things because I've finished most of the stuff I, you know, had previously, primarily to use with my planner. And I have now fallen down the like journaling rabbit hole of washi tape and stickers and stamps and all of those things. And now suddenly I'm like, I don't need another hobby, but the rate I'm going, I'm going to end up with another hobby. This is fine. One of the companies that has some cool stuff also posts that, or I should say cool stuff, but sells a lot of like Japanese and Korean stationery and office supplies and things. And there's just so many cute things, and it's the worst. It's the worst. Because I'm just keeping like, oh, but that would be fun to buy. I don't need that. I might actually, I was going to look and see what the like, cost per night ended up being, because I might just stay until Monday. Stay through Monday, just do the whole weekend. Like, I'm not going to get in until Friday. I have a work call. I am absolutely unable to move Friday afternoon. So I'll finish up work, take Susie to boarding at the daycare, and then get myself bundled up and up to Boston. Probably like, I'm gonna guess it's gonna be like the pre-dinner hour. 211 for a king. Ooh. It's not so bad. I'm not familiar. That's the Seaport District, right? I will actually show you all what this looks like up close once I complete an entire block. I'm using the same pattern as I did for the charity quilt, so this is the Scrappy Love quilt pattern because I love it and it's adorable. I'm going to finish it in time to bring it to Aresia with me, and we can ship it from there. Also, I want your all's thoughts. I know the lighting is not the best, which is... I have been looking up what might be better lighting options to one day put in here. But I'll be interested. I know I put it in the kind of corner, smaller square, but what you think of the top-down view. It's not as interesting, I think, right now, mostly because I'm working on tiny pieces. If I was sewing larger things where you could see more of the fabric, it might be more interesting. Hello and welcome in. Thank you for that follow. Sorry, my mouse was in a weird place and I couldn't see the screen well. After we finish this quilt, so here's my current plan. This quilt's gonna get done in the next week, because it has to. Then I'm gonna be working on and off on Pirate's quilt, which I also want to get done in a timely fashion. And then anything else are my own personal projects that are not on, that nobody but me is expecting to complete. So We ain't touching any quilts for a while after that. Or at least I'm going to be working on them only periodically. Oh, Cypher. One thing for you to consider, I apologize, I'm going to be slightly off screen while I iron things. I need you to think about what message you want on the quilt tag. It can't be like super, super long. And if time allows, I'm gonna try something that I had not done before on the last quilts. Because if I want to try something fancy, I'm gonna need the message ahead of time. And then if I need to, I will. Where's my phone? Hold on. I've done simple ones, like stuff that just is, you know, handmade with love. And then I think the most complicated one I did was for Leaf? I do have, what is it, Bon Voyeur, whatever, the Marriott. I don't have any points or anything, but I got it. That's for the Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday. How did you get so lopsided? That's actually slightly annoying. Alright, we're gonna fix that. Well, that's a good, I appreciate the prep assistance to at least have an idea. I did not expect to be seam ripping so quickly in this stream, and yet here we are. But yeah, so I have the Dremel, so at some point I'm going to be figuring that out and testing sanding. I've had so many boxes because one, I did a whole bunch of ordering from places that just were, you know, they're a little slower in general with processing, especially on the holidays and then like post-holiday and what have you. So I'm in the like, oh crap. Everybody's slowly catching up with all of the orders that came in over the last week and a half. There we go. And I got books in. I've got the Dremels here. Some, what did I order that came in? Oh, I broke one of my tea strainers, so I needed to buy a new one. Wasn't pleased about that. What else did I buy? It was the tea strainer. Oh. Hold on, I'll show you all in a second because I just remembered because it's literally right in front of me. I'm supposed to have a bunch of things coming in. I think Misty shipped the thing. Well, I think Nurble shipped the thing for Misty. So that'll show up at some point. I have a bunch of miscellaneous things I ordered from Etsy coming in. Oh, that's very uneven. What did I... Well, that's fine. These things happen. Awesome, thank you. I meant to get to it and then just it didn't happen, as we often know. I also kind of figured since I was sort of so late to get to booking anyways that it probably wasn't going to be that different of a price between like a week ago and today. But thank you. And then, yeah, so for Regia, I need to prep, and I'll probably over the weekend send something out for the panel I'm moderating. I tried to merge those two words together, and that really should not be done. And then I have some thoughts that I just want to prep for the panels I'm speaking about, and then I need to get my character into D&D Beyond. I will do it this weekend, because if I don't, it just won't happen in time for the game. Tomorrow's a relatively light day, so I should hopefully be able to catch up on a bunch of stuff after I'm done with work. Saturday is hair day. What was that music? What was that? I was very excited. Can you play this? Try to play this song again? No. It's like I can't get past. Well, that's disappointing. That sounded like it was going to be a fun song. Oh yeah, same. I don't know if it's going to be anything. Well, I'm not doing any color because my mermaid blues and such are still very much in my hair. This is just a cut. But historically, I've done pretty long windows between getting cuts. And to go with my theme of if it brings me joy, it's worth it for the year. We usually have done relatively like safe, easy cuts because I go so long between. Now, it's a far enough drive and trip to see my friend who does my hair that I am absolutely not going to do like every 6 weeks. But if I show up more often, but if I go more than once every 6 months, she might be willing to be more adventurous with how we cut my hair. So that's what I'm hoping to get to try out. D&D. Oh, so Cypher of Tier in chat and myself are both going to be at a con this weekend, next weekend, I'm sorry, because I know what time is, called Aresia, and we are playing, we're going to play a one-shot of 3 of us plus a friend or 2 with characters that we made and played in a multiplayer game in Baldur's Gate 3, where everything that could go wrong went wrong. So first, let me shift the camera back a second so it's a little bit easier to see. Here is our... Alright, let me shift it further back. I'm like, can I get the whole thing into the frame? Here is our heart block. So Cypher, this is how it's going to look. The hearts that I'm doing for the quilts, or the quilt blocks. So if we bring it a little bit closer so you can hopefully see the colors not so terribly. Trying to get the light good enough. The white is actually little silvery swirls and stars. Little trails with stars. And then we have a dark purple that's a petal motif, so they kind of look like flowers, or well, they definitely look like flowers, with a slightly lighter purple motif that's more just geometric swirls, and then finally our white swirl with some light purple swirls. Hi, welcome in, Wireless Riot and Raiders. Hello, hello, hello. Well, let's pretend like I'm a functioning human being that knows how to stream. If only I had my third camera set up perfectly and then I could just swap between all of them. Hello, welcome in, Raiders. Hi, I'm LadyLuck34. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a variety streamer who does games and crafty things. I think last time you came in I was doing Zelda. And so now we're doing crafty things. I'm sewing a quilt. Again. This is like quilt, I don't know, 6. A functioning human being in this economy, right? But welcome in. Playing more paleo. Oh no, hold on, it's in the other room. Actually, I don't know where I put it. Oh, it's sitting. Here we go. Live and in color. It was on my. You all can see. Wait, wrong way. Sorry. It doesn't quite fit over my my headphones correctly. But here's our froggy cap. So froggy cap with the swirls and the mouth and the eyes. And then it's hard to tell from the photos, it's not really clear, but I put a kind of like, it looks like a wood grain kind of brown fabric on the inside, because that's kind of what it seemed like it was. So yeah. Alright, hold on. It works a little better when my headset isn't on. So super cozy. Yeah, low energy day. Mood. We're making quilts. I'm making a quilt. So yeah, this is Wireless Riot's fault, because I was lurking in a stream and their character was wearing a froggy cap and I was like, oh, that's really cute. Can you like zoom in so I can see it? Oh no, are pre-rolled ads running? Gosh darn it, I don't see the pop-ups often enough, so I miss when they're actually running. They're like, oh, and pre-rolls are now turned off for the next however many minutes. I'm like, oh crap, are ads running right now? I wish they gave out better notifications for that, or like pop-ups on screen and stuff. But yeah, so this is Wireless's fault. I was like, I could make that probably, maybe. And I cut my own pattern. Well, no, I had a pattern for the hat, and then I had to cut the pieces for the eyes. So this is what happens when you do craft things, is that you go, I can make that. And then no one sees you ever again. Alright. So I have to make, for the quilt that I'm making, I have to make 18 of those little blocks, and we're 4 down, 14 to go. When I'm not distracted talking, it actually goes pretty quickly. But yeah, I'm glad that Paleo was nice and comfy and cozy. So yeah, I now have a frog cap. I did not plan to have a frog cap, but I got a frog cap. Sometimes these things just happen. But yeah, so we be sewing a quilt again. And then I still have some organizing to do in my craft space. Actually, I'm gonna have a lot of continued organizing to do in my craft space, because now I have a Dremel that I gotta figure out where to put. And I'm working on getting my fabric better documented. For those of you that have been here, when I talk about fabric, when I purchase a fabric, especially if it's Joann, where they typically have a little more information on like what type of fabric it is and what its fiber content is and what its care is, I write that all down on an index card and then store it with it so that I have that info in case I need it later. I'm not particularly skilled yet, and I might never be, at really like being able to just feel a fabric and stretch it and know what it is. Some people can do that. I don't think I'm that person. So I try to document what I have. And so I'm going to attempt, we're going to start with, and see how it goes for a period of time, documenting the scrap fabric I have, because basically after I complete a project and I have all the scrap fabric, it goes into a plastic bin all together. Just throw it in there, along with the particular index card that the info is on. And it's not organized, it's literally just a pile of fabric in a bin. So what I would like to do is, it will still be a pile of fabric in a bin, but rather than a pile of fabric with some index cards thrown in a bin, what I'd like to do is match up the fabrics with their index cards, which should be like relatively easy to do. Right now they're just kind of all thrown in there, but I'm not too worried about matching them. But then what I have gotten, and I will show you in just a second as I finish stitching this, because this section's almost done. Come on, there we go. Is I picked up from Dollar Tree, but you never know what you can find there, this nice little index card container. And then this one I had to get from Amazon because I wasn't thinking it, I didn't see it there. These little index card dividers, so that I can put my, like, grab a piece of fabric, cut a little bit, stick it on with it so I can identify which fabric it is, and then throw it in and create a little equivalent of a Rolodex, but not, with all of my fabric index cards. That is currently my plan. How well is this plan going to go? I don't know. Because right now this is really low on my list of things to get completed versus many of the other things I need to get done in the next week and a half. But, you know, we'll get there. Hey, Puddle Glum, welcome in. We are quilting again. We are not going to become a quilting stream. I know it seems like sometimes we might be a quilting stream, but I swear we won't. I just figured this would be some time that I could dedicate to working on this. But I hope you're doing well. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you're, for those of us in corporate jobs, that your first week back of the New Year's going all right. It does kind of feel like the longest short week ever. I need to fix that one. Hold on. That one looks fine. This one's okay. Oh, it's part of the, I had a split second where I was like, what hair tie? Because I swear I know what I'm doing. Oh no, I've been lucky enough that this week has not been too bad for meetings. But it's certainly a little bit of like, what the heck? Like, well, first off, it's the classic, you get back to work and you're like, what's my job again? What do I do here? And then I talked about this briefly on I think the planner stream, but our company had some layoffs in December. And while I was not laid off, several members of my team were. And just it's necessitating that we kind of work differently without them. Which, I mean, is always the case with layoffs as a whole, but this is more of a like, well, I think we need to figure out, like, we need to do this differently, y'all. I don't think we'll get there, but it just makes this week a little more uncertain because there's still things that need to get done. And it's sort of figuring out what's... Don't remind me. Took this week off instead of last week. Ooh. I mean, yay for taking this week off. Boo for having to go back on Saturday. Glad tomorrow is payday. Same. Yeah. We're all in a kind of weird state, I feel. There we go. Okay, the one I was just like, what? It took me a split second before I realized I was wearing the hair tie. I've admittedly been going through various stages of I'm too hot, I'm too cold. So I was like, oh, I'll put my hair down, but like I should have a hair tie in case it gets annoying. Montreal's, yeah. Yeah, it's not fun. I've been at my current company for a little over 6 years now. Yeah, this will be my 7th year. And so we've gone through, you know, ups and downs, including a round or two of layoffs before. And I've like been in previous companies where there have been layoffs and where I have been laid off. So it's mostly just one, it's generally stressful, as we all know. But then I think too, while the company has had layoffs, my team has not previously been impacted. So there's a little bit of the shock of like, oh, our team got hit. Finally. And then the subsequent from that too is like, oh crap, the way in which my team was hit honestly requires us to think and work differently as a whole. Like, the core of our work isn't going to change, but the way in which we function, who has what responsibilities, what have you, is naturally is going to have to change. And probably the person who's going to be most noticeably, I guess is how I would phrase it, noticeably impacted by that is me. And it might be a good thing. I think there's, I shouldn't say a good thing. There might be some good that comes of it, is how I would phrase it. At some point, because I will be honest that I did not particularly get along. Well, I rephrase that. I did not find my manager particularly effective, and my previous manager, and I am interested to see what changes now that I report to somebody else. But wait, there's more. You'll tell me more in person. Got it. My biggest challenge, I will say this with Arisha, is there's so many things I want to do. And of course, there's a panel I want to do that overlaps with one of my panels. I'm probably going to miss a portion of yours, Tanya, because we have conflicting panels. It's actually going to be really interesting for me because I feel like the last few cons I've done, or I shouldn't say last few, over the last like 2 years or so, I'm generally there where I'm like, I might have one thing to do, but I'm largely sort of following everybody else around and showing up at their panels. And this time it's like, oh no, I have like my whole own schedule to follow. Like, I gotta be... Not be, but I'll be doing way more. Drinking an old-fashioned, so there's an increasing chance I may just nod off. Go to bed! Aw, the lint cognac... wow, I can't even word right now. That word is no good. I'm just standing over here. You all can't see it, but there's an iron. If I roll it a little bit in frame, you can see iron. Sometimes I set up the camera so you can see the iron, but honestly, I forget half the time to swap it back and forth. So here you go. Another... At first I wasn't, the fun thing with doing this same pattern multiple times is y'all get to see a few different ways in which I've done it. So a couple of the previous quilts were done where it was these blocks that essentially make up the heart, there's 8 of them, are all a different fabric. Then for the quilt that Cypher has, or that Cypher got, it's the same fabric, but they're all like textured. So while it's the same fabric, each piece kind of looks a little different. So it's similar color to create that gradient effect across the quilt. And in this case, I bought 3 different colors, or 3 different fabrics, to kind of give a transition from light to mid to dark. And I'm hoping when it all comes together into the quilt that it's gonna look good. It's my hope, at least. Also, I think you said something at one point, Safer, about maybe bringing the quilts with, and I'm like, if you want to, I won't judge. Just tells me it's a good quilt. That I did good work. And that makes me happy. I think one of the hardest things with handmade gifts, unless you're a pro and you charge a lot for them, is making something and hoping that the person who receives it likes it. I don't expect people to keep something forever. I think it's if you can appreciate the time and effort that went into making you something handmade, and you get some enjoyment out of it, even if in a couple years you say, you know what, I don't need this anymore. And then I would hope that you find it a good home. Then I'm happy. Though let me tell you, the foil dice. Been keeping it in the freezer. I thought I had them. I said the product description says T-Rex mini light picture. That's interesting. Cozy was made by one of my favorite humans, so thank you. I'm excited to buy things at Arisha because I don't have to take them far to get them home. I'm excited to see my friends. I'm excited to goof off and talk about crafty things and sit in on some panels that I'm very excited for. I had to laugh because there's two where I'm like, do I go to the, books for aspiring writers panel, or do I go to the mass extinction discussion panel? Both seem really good. That quilt ain't going anywhere. Well, this playlist is always such an eclectic selection of music. There's a lot of nonsense things I don't. A lot of nonsense things I don't need that I keep finding by falling into the journaling and paper crafting and pens and office and stationery supplies. It's so pretty. There's so many cool things. Also, this was a mistake. I don't need another craft. But I might end up with I have resisted purchasing more journaling and pens and other things beyond my initial purchase that was for the planner. And hold on. way, so towards me. Got it. There we go. That was almost bad. I'm waiting for that supply order, all of those things, mostly from Etsy, to show up. And then from there, I'm going to attempt to actually use them and then be like, do I want more of this? Will I use it for things? Oh, that's not quite even, but I think it should be okay. Should be enough clearance that it's fine. You fight if anybody tries to take it. Welcome in, Tweety Birdie. You want to bring me the instructions? I won't say no. It's on my... It is on my goals for the year. To try out the various embroidery kits. Me talking about trying to clear out crafts. Also me. Not doing that. Hold on. Yeah, that's what I thought I did. Here's what we'll do. We'll just stitch here. I need to touch this one up just a little bit. I am glad that this is going to be a baby quilt, because we'll be able to get this. I also remembered to actually pull out the that's better. To actually pull out the batting for the quilt, because a lot of times, unless you're buying rolls, the batting is folded up. You want to pull it out and set it so that it can basically lose some of the fold lines from it being folded up in the packaging. And I usually forget. It's like when I want to put the quilt sandwich together is when I remember to be like, oh crap, I need to take it out of the packaging. But not this time, so I open it up and it's hanging. The only place I have large enough to hang batting of any size, so that it can hopefully get out the folds and things, is in the bathroom over the shower curtain. So, like, you know, you just make the best with what you got. Drop me a note. Got it. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I just read your message. Like, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, so I got a busy weekend. Well, Saturday will be busy. And then if it's gonna snow on Sunday, I might as well just stay in and do nothing. No reason to go outside if it's snowing. Except for to walk Susie, of course. And I feel kind of bad for Susie because it's been cold enough that she's like, let's go. And I'm going, okay, let's just stay close to the apartment building. Oh, also, I met a couple with a baby German Shepherd last night who were in my complex. That's hilarious. Her name is Penelope. And they were like, yes, we want dogs with human names. So I was like, well, this is Susie. And it was very funny and was very adorable. Oh yeah, Susie. Susie knows that I'm here to take care of her, not the other way around. I just threw my scissors on the floor. Because why not? Actually, let's try these other things that I forgot that I purchased. I should have opened from the other side where I'm less likely to stab myself. Oh. Oh, okay. I got distracted. It's fancy. Ha! Okay. I have a fancy. So it has a guard that it closes the whole thing, which is what I was just trying to figure out. But no, it doesn't. It's these little snippies. They just don't require quite as much hand motion as like a standard pair of scissors. There's one of the little, like, what's the squishy face dogs? I'm totally blanking. Like, even when they're puppies, they got squishy face. Because somebody else in, I think the next building over, had one of those. I remember when it was little teeny tiny, like, I don't know, 6 or 8 weeks old. Like, had to have just gotten the dog. And now it's like, it's moved from being like a toddler to being like a 10-year-old in terms of size. It's adorable, but I'm like, oh, you're not as like squishy as you were when you were like a third of the size. Which, like, I guess I wouldn't expect you to be, but like on principle, puppies are so cute. Got a very cute shepherd puppy on my back. Ah, shepherds are really smart. Like, so smart. No, it's the, is it Sharpei? Like, they grow up to be relatively big dogs. Is the one I'm thinking of. Did I forget about the pre-rolls again? I keep, one day I will pull a, I'll be like Urban Bohemian and I will actually, set Nightbot on a timer that's like, you should take a break, and I will take breaks and I will actually run ads during that so that we get less of this random nonsense. But yeah, so this weekend's basically gonna be me working on this quilt on and off. Everything I pre-cut before, so that was all done. Really, the only thing I need, you do not have to rush on it, Tanya, but think on like what you'd like the tag to be, or the sign. Oh my god, I said sign. Tag's probably better. I want to try something with stitching. The way it is on your quilt, I think at the time I hadn't figured out the correct setting, so I want to say it's like it's the little tag in the corner on the back that's like I'm sorry, I don't even remember what I put on it, but I'm sure I meant it. I just have no memory. Oh, music? I keep thinking of frivolous things that would be funny as topics, but it's always when I'm around and about and can't write them down. And then I'm sitting here going like, what was the thing I wanted to talk about on stream? Oh, people in elevators. The people who are waiting to get on an elevator and they stand right in front of the door, like they have not even considered that somebody might be getting off of the elevator and that they will be in the way. I had an older gentleman do that today. And like, it's the top floor. You do not go to the top floor unless you're intentionally going there. And then he stood in the way and then it was like, all right, can I get out? And he's like, oh, you're getting off? Like, what do you think I'm going to be doing? Yes, I'm getting off the elevator with my dog. And I say top floor, there's only 4 floors to this apartment complex, but like, the number of people who've gotten scared by Susie because we've been in the elevator and they've, again, not even considered the thought of whether somebody is going to be getting off the elevator, and then so they're standing right in front of the door and it's barely opened and they start walking in and then there's a large black dog and they get scared. Like, you did this to yourself. Like, we make a habit too, because the other thing is there's a lot of people with dogs in this complex. And so, like, we make a habit of trying not to be right up against the door regardless, because what if the other person, either getting on or off, also has a dog and is not necessarily I feel like most people with dogs are pretty good. My biggest struggle is usually the people with small dogs. Who, once again, it's like they're just right there with their small dog and they're like, oh crap, small dog, like small dogs do, get small dog angry, and then they have to like fast speed down and pick them up. And I'm like, well, if you weren't standing right there in the door and gave yourself a little bit of space, you would have time to react a little more effectively. That isn't a, oh crap, my little dog is angry and there's a large dog right there. But the older gentleman being surprised that I was actually getting off the elevator on a floor was what got me today. And then did not move out of the way, besides like shuffling to the side like half an inch. I'm feeling accomplished. I have, it was technically a manhwa, so a Korean comic, but I have read one book already that was new and I purchased before end of year. It didn't arrive until after the beginning of the year, but I purchased before, so I count it as a book that I already owned. I also reread one of the light novels I already had because I got the second volume in. And I was like, oh crap, what happened in the first volume? Let me reread it. Well, I had a good idea of the broad strokes, but I wanted to reread it. It was worth it. The nice part about light novels is, for whatever reason, despite them sometimes being 200 and 300 plus words, I find them oftentimes just faster to read through for some reason. Not quite sure why. I will say, it annoys me ironing between, like, basically every time I sew a seam. But it turns out so much crisper and cleaner when you do that. So much. Oh, who was it that was in stream the other day that was asking about quilts? Today's stream would have been the stream to be here for. Because I could have talked to everything I'm doing to make this quilt. This is the kind of more helpful how to do quilting explanation. Or part of the project, I should say. AK, we're blocking. I mean, you don't have to, but the thing with... How'd I manage that? Well, that's an interesting mishap. Is that basically if you... By ironing each time you're doing a seam, so I'm basically going and ironing... so I sew the 3 rows... I sewed the 3 rows together, and then I ironed each of them into a direction, the backs, you know, on one side, essentially. On clothing, you would typically fold the seam open and then iron, but in this case, what we want is for the seams to nest, which I'll show you on the next one, which kind of has those 2 different directions fold together well. And so ironing between each just helps them like lay flat and your corners be crisper. Like nice sharp. I'm trying to see if there's maybe this one. Nice sharp square corners. Hey, how are you doing? Yes, a quilt for you. This was a commissioned quilt. So this one will not be for you, but maybe one day. I'm gonna work through my current quilt projects and then not look at a quilt for at least a couple months. Which I did to myself. How are you? I saw you're kicking off your 2024 Extra Life fundraising. What is this pretzel? Oh, I'm sure. You are, every year. I mean, it goes to a good cause, but absolutely every year you are. Aesthetic is a fantastic charity fundraiser with Extra Life and get some amazing prize items to incentivize donations, and does a lot of really good, really important work. This year's PC Prize sponsored by Intel, MSI, Hike, Corsair, and more. Nice. I'm glad. I'm glad the companies are open and willing to support you in doing good. You can't see it, and nobody will ever see it because I use it as a charity incentive, but my first quilt that I did here on stream last year as a charity fundraiser was a mess because I did not know how to properly line things up, and I was not stitching at a 1/4 inch seam, or I wasn't stitching 1/4 inch seam very evenly. I wasn't ironing between the way I should have, and it was like, it wasn't bad, but it certainly is not as well lined up as these are in comparison. And like, these still aren't perfect by any means. I don't have the light positioned correctly to give you the best close-up of some of the stitching, because they're definitely, like, not all of my corners are square. I could not lie to you all and let you believe that. But they're more square than they were in my first quilts. Training Live 20, yeah, spreadsheets. Oh, Pokemon Eevee jacket, yes. I'm not saying that I think it was you that had sent, like, the person who does the variety of ones, and I've just, like, I have that bookmarked in case maybe one day in the future. But yes, you do. Actually, I respect how much you must be keeping track of and how ridiculous your spreadsheets must be between the prizing and keeping track of the donations and running all of the raffles and things. Like, I did it a couple of times for a small amount of things, and it was a whole mess. Like, I got better at it over time, but I respect that you do it at the scale you do year after year. Listen. Respect for Eevee and all of the evolutions. Especially Espeon. I told you to own the Altaria plush. Have you seen the Whale Lord, though? Have you seen the giant, nearly 5-foot Whale Lord? Because it's ridiculous and I love it. We saw one in real life at PAX Unplugged, and it was humongous. And I was like, oh. I asked them how much it was, and it was certainly outside my budget. And then somebody bought it, and we saw them carrying it through the hotel lobby on the Sunday of the con. And it was very funny because all of us were in different parts of the lobby. And I saw it, and I snapped a photo as the person was walking by. And some of the other people from my group that were there saw them at, like, different parts in the lobby, and were all messaging our group chat like, the Whale Lord! Only to realize that they had their proposed price from, it was a third-party shop, it wasn't Pokemon directly, at the con was like, well, the price is negotiable, but we're like starting the negotiation at 600. And then to your point, you can buy it from Pokemon Center for 420. Now I have nowhere to put a 5-foot Whale Lord plush. Like, it would be larger than my dog. Though I had to laugh because I'm waiting for maybe one of the smaller Whale Lord plushes to get in stock. Did I keep the screenshot I took? I don't think I did. There was a wild or slightly hilarious post on the Pokemon Instagram that was the large Whale Lord and the large Spheal plush, like dancing around a room. Too loud music. And I saw it and was like, it's like the time I got the promotional email from the Pokemon Center website that said, your villain era starts now, when they released the Team Rocket collection. And I was like, why are you speaking directly to my soul? Their marketers are so good. Hello, hello, welcome in, Raiders. I'm sorry I'm off screen at this exact moment. Please hold one moment. I'm ironing things. Well, I'm like partially in screen, very awkwardly in screen. Can I do this without potentially burning myself? We said no burns tonight. But welcome in, Raiders. Hi, hi, hi. I'm Lady Luck 34. My pronouns are she, her. Variety streamer doing crafty things and video game things, and somehow we are once again quilting. I know how we got here. Hi. Hold on. Let me switch. Let me switch scenes, and then catch up on what Chad is saying. Hi. Hi, everyone. Welcome in. It would look like large plushies do that. Welcome in, Panda. Sahana, Martimus, Melissa, Pirate. We're here to stage a quilt intervention. No! To be fair, this was not a new quilt. This was one of the quilts from the list. Hey, Lily. I love Mandy's Lincoln Lord. Yeah, I'm like, unfortunately, the camera placement is fine when I'm like right here at the machine, but slightly awkward when I turn to iron things. Hey, DC. We're worried you have a quilting problem. It's because I do. No, I was actually talking about that. This one will be done and taken to Aresia. Pirate, yours will get worked on, and it will get to you in a, well, not a timely fashion because I'm so far behind already, but one day in probably the next few months. But then I'm basically, oh, DC's been playing Sea of Stars. That's right. I have only largely been lurking DC because I do want to play Sea of Stars yet, so I've been not being very present to avoid spoilers. Yay, new quilt. Also, yes, please get food. Hey, Dre, welcome in. And if I get it to you in the next 3 months and it's after your move, it can be a housewarming gift. Since we're sitting here, I can show you all. This is going to be another baby quilt. And we are doing that same heart block pattern again because I love it and it's great. But this time we're doing something a little bit different, which is that I've picked 3 fabric colors and I'm laying them out to create a light to dark tangent for our hearts. Purple was the color of choice, and let me see if the lighting will camera light. You can kind of see it. It's hard to tell, but there's glitter. It's stars and dots and sparkles. Similarly, flowers, swirls, stars, sparkles. Geometric dots and swirly patterns, and then nice little dark petals. So all of these are going to come together, and we're just... Actually, this is a really fantastic right here, right now, with those 6 pieces in the background. But welcome in. How did all influencer wrestling go? I was lurking for the first 30, 45 minutes. I saw the merch, which was exciting. And also, if you need to raid and run or take a break because winding down from doing all of that, totally understand. But Welcome in, everyone. Yeah, we're now on the crafting portion of the variety streamer chain. I'm really annoyed with how this one is. Let's put the iron to it again. But I hope everyone is doing well. I said no. But yeah, so I'm mostly, this quilt, because it is a baby quilt, this quilt size is certainly much more, I hate to say easier to do. Well, how did I manage this? Well, it's fine. Certainly an easier, do it in a week project kind of thing. And we're supposed to be getting snow on Sunday. So I feel like Sunday's going to be a crafty weekend, or Sunday's going to be a crafty day of just sewing a quilt. But yeah, I hope everyone's doing all right. I hope you'll have to tell me, give me the short version of how all influencer wrestling went. In short version, because I'll catch the VOD, but like, what were the best matches? I heard that Tanya's character was beating up Melissa's character. Like, I gotta know how the matches went. Oh, there's snow here too on Sunday. Yeah. I think it's supposed to be, well, I don't know about for you all. For us, I guess it's or if it's I should rephrase that. I don't know if it's the same storm body, but ours is potentially a nor'easter. I haven't actually looked at how much snow it's supposed to be. Surprising match results. Ooh, that sounds fun. A whole northeast is, yeah. I saw that it was in the sort of 10-day forecast that we would have snow for Sunday, but I haven't actually looked up any additional information about like the storm or the pattern yet. So, what's this? Arija, yeah, there we go. You can type Arija, and you can see the list of things that I'm doing. I will 100% admit that I foolishly did not realize that one of the panels I'm doing, I'm actually moderating, and I was like, oh crap, I need to be a good mod. So the good part is that basically I took the, like, what are the things I would want to say about this topic, and I turned those into questions. And my current plan is over the weekend to drop something up to my panelists for that, which is just going to be more like, hey, that particular panel I'm not too worried about because I feel like the discussion between will dovetail easily, so the questions might not even be necessary, but I'll have them just in case. Also, for any of you who follow me on Blue Sky, I've made a mistake. And that mistake is, besides sewing another quilt, no, I'm just kidding. I realized I had run out of a couple of washi tapes and things. And I like using some of those sorts of materials for my planner. So using washi tapes and some additional nice little various journaling to add some flair, you know, what have you. But then I foolishly made the mistake of looking up some more stuff on that just to be like, oh, what else might I want for my planner? I have a little bit, because the planner I'm using this year, the Hobonichi, has single days. I have a little bit more space where it's kind of half planner, half journal. And then I fell down the rabbit hole of watching videos of people doing journaling and paper crafting and just washi tapes and stickers and stamps. I'm like, oh no, have I found another hobby? Maybe. I have, and I will take pride in this, so far not ordered any additional materials besides the first set of things that I ordered initially for my planner, or to use with my planner. So I am so far having self-control, but that will probably not last very long. All of the stuff I think I ordered has so far been shipped, and I'm just waiting for it to come in. I'll be very excited to make pretty things with it. And there we go. Another heart block done. Remind me. Okay, yeah. 3, 2, 3, 2, 2, 6, 8. Oh, we're almost halfway through our blocks. But yes, I will have to catch the VOD of the rest of the AI dub matches later. But yeah, so my to-do list is I need to book my hotel because I kept forgetting and then I didn't do it, and then jury duty, and listen, life just happens. And then what else? I will prep my stuff for being a moderator for one panel, and then I need to prep my stuff for all the other panels, including the fact that I have not put my character for the one shot into D&D Beyond yet. Oh, Snow Estimate keeps going. I mean, like, we gotta get at least one, and it'll make Susie happy. So, like, I won't love it, but she'll love it. Do I need to check? I don't know if I still have a coat for her. Well, I have the one I made her, so there's that at least. I honestly should make her a new one. I don't know if I have enough materials to make her a new one. I have the fleece, but I don't know that I have the nylon. Oh, well, you know what? I'm going to get my hair did this weekend. And really, we're just getting a cut. I don't need any color because my color is still looking good. And that always takes me on a field trip. Yeah, I'm moderating a panel about making makers make, which is really, really interesting. I feel topic to talk through. And there's like a lot of angles you can go with it. I'm really excited about all the crafting things. I'm a little sad. I think one of the cosplay panels I wanted to go to conflicts with one of my panels. And I feel like I conflict with like multiple other things that y'all are doing. I think I conflict with it. I know that I think I have a conflict with when a pirate interviews a villain, which makes me sad. But y'all are gonna do great. It is really bad. Can we talk about the fact that I submitted all of like my here's why you should choose me for panel stuff, and that was before I started doing dice making. I had before that at least acquired the initial set of materials to try embroidery and to attempt knitting, but I hadn't done them yet, and I still haven't. And then, yeah, the journaling paper crafting is probably going to be a thing. So, listen, how the Y'all keep telling me I let the bit go on too long. That's not true. I am committed to the bit. It would have been funny. But yeah, I definitely need to figure out a way to make a joke in the panel I'm moderating, which is Making Makers Make, about like, or you just need to mistakenly make a comment in a group chat of at least one friend who does the thing you commented about, and an hour later they say packages are on the way. That's one way to get into doing a craft. But yeah, I feel like it's going to be really one of those where I'm like, well, between the time when I said I would be open to being a panelist and I actually, you know, showed up at this con, I've picked up multiple additional crafts because I lack self-control. Oh god, Eugenio live tweeting from Cypher's account would be hilarious. I do feel, I think the first time I did it, I forget who it was. I don't remember if it was DC or if it was Dasbiff who, or it might have been both of you at different times, who was like, oh, it took me a couple tweets before I realized the tone of who was talking or who was like typing and knew it was you. And I was like, that's fair. If you've had enough interactions with me, whether it's me in chat or me as a streamer, you probably have a pretty good idea of my tone of voice. My favorite will probably be the one from PAX Unplugged with me sitting there with Springleaf to my right and the Dr. B to my left as I'm typing, "What's up, suckers?" on Cypher's phone, and both of them staring at me, waiting for me to hit post so that they could retweet it. It was very entertaining to me. I feel like they were both just reading from my sides, like, what I was saying. Or what I was typing, and would be like, ah, yes, this is what I want to retweet. But yes, I do feel that I have a relatively distinct tone of voice, generally speaking, but probably especially when it comes to posting, because I do... Y'all can tell me if you think differently. I feel I generally type the way that I speak, unless I'm at work, and then, you know, that's a whole different thing. But yes, so I have resisted, though I do have to show you all, it is the absolute cutest thing. Because this is what happens when I start falling down the hole of, like, stationery supplies and things. What was it? It was the... Here we go. Yes. Look at him. Hold on. We're gonna get entirely derailed. Look at him. Where's Furwick? I will partially blame Furwick for this. Furwick actually has absolutely nothing to do with this, but on principle alone, I'm blaming Furwick. Like, I have a fountain pen because of Furwick. So anyways, cute office supplies are the best and or the worst. Are the best and the worst. But I do have to laugh. I was all, oh yeah, I'm gonna take it easy, what have you, and I'm going straight from New Year into con, into some other stuff that I don't think has been publicly stated yet, into some other stuff that'll be like late January. That's what I'll say. And it's not bad, it's just one of those where I'm like, I thought I was gonna take it easy. What am I doing to myself? But remember, our theme for this year, y'all, if it brings you joy, it's not a waste of time. Or, well, not that. Anything that brings you joy is not a waste of time is technically the correct. I'm trying to decide, Melissa. It's funny because I was like, do I bring a plush with me? Or do I purchase one? Because my very first panel at that con, which is about self-care at conventions, is Friday night. So I have to, before that panel at 8:30, acquire a plush if I'm not going to bring one of mine. Bring one and purchase a friend for it, probably. I'm trying to decide who I want to bring because I'm not going to lie. Pirate Teddy Ursa is, like, rockin'. Very perfect size to hold. Very squishy. The Squishmallow name lives up. And it sounds weird, but the ears, I like the like texture feel of squeezing them. That sounds really awkward. Please don't take me out of context. Or I guess take me out of context, it's fine. But yeah, Teddy Ursa's great. Teddy Ursa is just kind of a little large, so I'm not sure if it'll be like Snorlax. I have a very soft plush shark. So I gotta pick, like, it's gonna kind of depend how much space I want it to take up. I think it's gonna be the ultimate deciding factor. Because all of them have slightly different, like, textures and shape and the ways in which I hold them and that they provide me comfort. And those are all good for different things. And mastered all of them this morning. I don't know about mastery. I was very excited about the foil leaf dice. I have already picked out the next two dice like colors and mixes I'm gonna do, but I am waiting until I can sand, because the Dremel came in today. It is not small. It is very heavy duty for sanding. So I want to sand and get at least the sanding, if not also the inking done on some dice before I make more, because I have so many to do. What are all the options for travel plush? So we have plush options include, I'm trying to think what's out. So there is a Snorlax. There is a Teddy Ursa. There is... these, we're going to start with the larger ones. So Snorlax, Teddy Ursa, the shark. Chonky Dragon Boy, Thimberchod. I have one of the foxes from Ghost of Tsushima. I have Amaterasu from Okami. I also have a Mew. There's a Ditto who's a microbead plush, so he's very squishy. Smaller size, or relatively smaller speaking. I have an Espeon. I have a Bulbasaur. I have these little things that I absolutely forget what they're called, but they were from this really cute little YouTube show called Hanazuki. I could just attach these to like my bag or something. I have more, but these are the 3 that are in this room. Snorlax, I'm kind of tempted. Snorlax is a good size that's like not too large. Like Thimberchod I think is going to be a little too large, and I'm as much as I like Teddiursa, I think Teddiursa might be too large for this travel. It's soft, and the one thing is it's a I forget what specific line of plush from the Pokemon Center Snorlax is, but his paws are weighted, so they're nice as like a slightly, they have a slightly different texture in the sense of, or feel I should say, because of the weight to them, though they're still just as soft as the rest of the plush. So I feel like it's probably gonna end up being either the Shark or Snorlax. I don't know what the Shark is. Shark was a gift. We did a funky way of doing kind of little holiday gifts with my team at work this year. So we've always done things like White Elephant, what have you before. So this year it was, give me, 1 to 2 words of something, and it can be a theme or what have you, and our coordinator basically was like, we'll randomly select who goes to what, and all you'll get is their name and the thing. And so mine was soft and fluffy. So all they would get is Mandy and soft and fluffy. And I got a fluffy shark. Very soft. Very plush. I do not think it's the toy shark from IKEA. Fairly confident, because I feel like I've seen that shark before. I will say, I saw a truly fabulous crab plush at PAX Unplugged, and it was like right as the hall was closing, so I was like, cool, I'll come back tomorrow and get it. And I showed up, and it was a little, because I was doing something else, it took me a little longer to get over, so I wasn't there right when like the vendor hall opened. And I showed up, and same guy there, and he looks at me, he's like, we sold the crab 20 minutes ago. Like, of course you did. And then I think it was at PAX East last year that I resisted, but I really wanted this super cute and fluffy Cthulhu, which would have been a really great Cthulhu. Covered the. It is a very important shark. But yes, I made the mistake in my browsing of like stationery and other supplies of finding that like, you know, animal friends as organizers, so like pin holders and stuff, and that whale shark, it's so good. I don't need a whale shark pin holder, but I feel like I want one. So anyways, that's a problem for future Mandy. Also, I'm really annoyed because I was like, oh, I have this set of like 3 different sizes of stencils that I can use for some of my planner stuff. And then I'm like, 2 of the stencil sizes are so, like, the way that they're cut, I can't fit a pencil, I can't fit a pen, I can't fit a marker, and I'm looking at it being like, who designed this? When did I purchase this? Because this ain't working. So now I'm annoyed. Oh, also, what was the other one? Here's a fun one that I also saw, because why not share all of the best worst things? These like bookmarks, but they're also essentially stencils. Or like you can use them as stencils, I should say. So anyways, I feel at this point, Melissa, that it'll probably be more appropriate for me to show up at Arisia and go, hi, I'm Mandy and I have a crafting problem. Where's the therapy for, or support circle for crafters meetup? I was honestly thinking about whether I wanted to go through the trouble of trying to bring some of the projects I need to hand sew with me, and then I realized that the time for like the sewing meetup was overlaps with one of my panels. I was like, well, I will be bringing crochet things, or at least a crochet thing. But, right? Aren't they cute? And they do different things. I wanted the weather one, and I would have splurged for it. By splurged, I mean not... I'm trying right now to wait until the stuff I have already ordered more for my planner to come in before I'm tempted to purchase other things. But like if they'd had the weather ones, I might have bought them regardless. And there's like daily life, and I forget what the 4th one was. But yeah, I hope everybody's Thursday is going all right. We've almost made it through the week. Meow. I like this one. Oh, Puddleglum. If you are still here, I realize that I did not demonstrate very well. So I can show you now. We'll do a brief show and tell. So I'm ironing in between as I'm doing each of the seams with the goal of trying to get this to lie a little bit flatter. So when you look at... This one's actually not too bad off. So essentially, if you look from row to row, I have one seam allowance going in one direction. So this one's going here to the right, and the seam allowance for the row beneath it is going in the opposite direction to the left. And so what that means is that when they sit together, I don't know how well the camera will capture this, basically the phrasing that quilters use is that you're nesting the seams. So they basically butt right up against each other, but they're facing opposite directions, and that helps you create these crisp corners that don't end up with as much bulk to them the way that if they were both on the same side and I sewed it together would add. It basically keeps from doubling up as much as you can the bulk where you have these intersecting seams. Is primarily. Now, not everybody does it that way, but that's how I try to do it. And then for any seams that are not, that I won't have to worry too much about nesting later, which are these ones here from putting the 3 rows together. I don't even remember, but the way I heard somebody describe it, I think when I was first learning in a YouTube video or something, is that you tend to try and fold the seam allowance behind the darker fabric or away from the lighter. So I just tend to do it that way. But essentially the goal of when you do things like nest your seams, and the reason why I'm ironing between, is to help them lay flatter and be crisper when I sew the various. And I feel like this one's not perfect, but it turned out pretty well in terms of how well my corners are squared. Is as more of it comes together as a bulky, as a quilt, it doesn't look like much when it's this by itself, but once we put a bunch of these together, you're putting the batting behind it, you're going to have the backing behind that. The goal is that this is not, you don't have like weird bumps and stuff where it's popped up because there's so much seam behind it. It's the goal, at least. So hopefully that makes sense. So that's why I'm ironing basically each time I'm doing a seam, or like all of the seams end up ironed when I'm doing those first initial stitching the 3 blocks together into the 3 rows. I iron it all in bulk just because it feels more efficient to me that way. But yeah, so I'm pretty much ironing everything, and that's sort of why I'm doing it that way, which is to help it lay flatter and hopefully have those crisper 90-degree corners. I feel bad. Antiquated, who was here last stream but is not here this stream, was asking about learning to quilt, and I was like, oh, my old VODs, I don't know that any of them when I was doing beginning stuff is still there. And then what am I doing today? Beginning stuff on quilting. Or like the basic construction elements that you do at the beginning, I should say. Well, it's just how it be sometimes. Anybody looking forward to anything fun this weekend? I'm not going outside while it's snowing. That's a lie. I have to take my dog out. But besides taking my dog out. Well, I botched that, but it's fine. This feels like visiting the weird wizard in a video game. Where they're like, here's the eccentric wizard who will give you a task but will also help you out by giving you an item. This is the theme of you like walking into the wizard's forest or their house. Oh. Oh my god, y'all. I might have to re-iron everything. I didn't realize that I was not on the heat setting for cotton. Ugh. Well. Off stream, I will take an iron to... I will take the iron to the blocks that... Actually, I lied. I'm going to do it right now. I was like, Imagine how much crisper these will be now with the correct heat from the iron. They'll lay so much flatter. Me, this seems odd, but I'm sure it's fine. Also me. Guess what? It wasn't fine. Alright, here's what we'll do. We'll move up the ones that have the... did not get ironed at the highest heat. And we will separate them. As I throw one of my blocks on the floor. Alright. Best thing you used an iron for was getting Hey, listen, if it works, then that's all that matters. I think what we'll do is I think I have 2 more blocks up here. So we will complete these 2 blocks. I'll look at how many I have done total. And then we will probably call it a night. I'm not going to run quite as late this evening as I usually do. Just that I can go to sleep at a reasonable time. And I say that, but it's because I know exactly how I am, and it takes me a little bit of time to wind down. And I'll want to read a little bit, and I'll want to do this and do that, and sometimes I don't mind going a little longer, but this is one of those days. It's funny, I actually don't iron too many other things. I do occasionally for like particularly wrinkled or otherwise clothes, I will iron, but like I definitely use my iron for significantly more sewing things than anything else. One of my maybe eventual gifts to myself later this year, maybe I'll do that for my birthday, is to buy a cordless iron. There are some really good ones. I wish Twitch was a little better at giving you the pop-up saying, hey, ads are gonna run soon, because I feel like they're so small and not noticeable that I miss them, and so I only see anything when it's like, hey, pre-roll is turned off for the next however long because clearly an ad just ran. This playlist is so eclectic. I don't like how much this one fabric seems to be fraying so much. It's a good thing we're putting it in a quilt, so it's not a problem in some sort of apparel. Also, I want you all to know that after talking about using the materials I already have, I will own up in advance that what the heck did I do here? Well, that's interesting. That I will probably buy fabric over the weekend. Mostly because the friend I go see who does my hair is on the way past some larger other fabric stores that are a little bit more of a field trip for me to go to normally to just browse. So I usually try to tag when I'm driving up to see her to get my hair done with visiting those stores because I'm already going to be making that long of a trip. And like, if I'm going to go, might as well buy something, right? So like, once again, just a quick reminder, I have zero self-control if that was not already obvious. Wow, this is pressing so much nicer when my iron is at the correct heat, which is double what I had it set to. Like, wow, who would have guessed that setting your iron for cotton would press cotton so much better? What a surprise. Honestly, this might work out perfectly because my bobbin might be... run out right about the time I'm finishing these blocks. But yeah, so I was just gonna own up from the very beginning that I was probably gonna buy more fabric. Not a ton, but I'll take a look at any outstanding needs. Like I know for one of the fabrics I actually showed off to y'all, that dark green velvet, that pattern needs lining fabric, and I do not have any lining fabric. Well, I don't have lining fabric cut for that particular project, I should say. Listen, I do have lining fabric for other projects. So that's probably what I'll do, is I'll do a quick browse through all of the various projects that I do have already set up and say what are some additional materials that I need. Alright. So that I can limit myself from just being like, that's pretty, I should buy it, that's pretty, I should buy it, and then ending up with an entire pile of fabric that I don't know what to do with. Kind of like what I already have right now. Or maybe cold enough where I say, screw it, I'm just showing up to get my hair cut and that's it. That is also a potential scenario of how this could go. Especially if it's gonna snow on Sunday. Makes me think Saturday is probably gonna be pretty chilly. Alright, so here's what it's gonna be, y'all. We are gonna go until either I finish these 2 blocks or the bobbin runs out. Bobbin runs out first. We stop. What was that, Nightbot? Reminder to hydrate. I will in just a second. Does it count as hydration if my iron is set to steam? Asking for myself. All right. The one thing I do really like about my fabric choices this time is that these are all omnidirectional fabrics, which most of the ones I choose tend to be because I'm using more, I guess like kind of more abstract prints than anything else. But I was thinking about it, I was like, it would be a pain if I had to worry about which direction the fabric was facing. I have done one project, I think actually, yeah, now that I think about it. When I take classes, I tend to end up with like solids or very similarly omnidirectional prints. The only time that I did do a project where I had to be very particular about where I laid the pattern pieces and what I cut to get the look I was going for was a pair of wide leg pants with this really beautiful kind of paintbrush motif that went from a like black dark blue basically through a rainbow of colors and ended at a bright yellow at the bottom. And I wanted to have that same motif or that same transition gradient from the waist down to the pant leg, which meant that I couldn't place the pattern pieces and cut it out the way the pattern recommended, because then I would end up with not how I wanted the fabric to look. And it was kind of a dual choice of one, I wanted a similar gradient from top to bottom. And then two was also because of, it was a slightly, sort of one of those like silky print fabrics. And so it was not sheer, but like slightly thinner. Like it's a thinner weight fabric as a whole. And so I wanted the darker color tones, the blacks and the blues and the deep greens to be what was really around like my waist and stuff, and have that transition down, you know, where you had the kind of lighter color tones at the knee and the ankle. Ooh, I don't think we're gonna make it through this entire block. Our bobbin's looking pretty sad. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it. We'll try, but I'm pretty sure. Oh, actually, yeah. I think I just pulled out the end of the bobbin. I did. Alright, so we'll go set this up here. So we made it like a third through this. Oh, actually, I forgot to trim. The threads. You don't have to trim the threads, but I find they just kind of get in the way when you're piecing in general, building your blocks, and then when you're actually sewing the various blocks together. So I just find it easier to trim all the threads as I go. Alright, so for this particular quilt pattern, which if you're interested in this pattern, you can type !pattern into chat. That'll give you a link to the Etsy listing of where I purchased it. And this is the same pattern that I did multiple times on stream through last fall into winter. For the charity quilt, and then for several baby quilts as well. Alright, so let's be smart. Actually, no. Let's be smart, no. So this will be partially done. We'll get some more done. So let's take a quick look. I'm going to count 3, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. This will be 12. I only have to make 18 blocks before we start sewing the blocks together. So we've actually made pretty good progress. I think I was at 3, we're at 11. So we got 8 done tonight. Nicely done, y'all. So this is, I think as a whole, this particular pattern at this size, let me specify. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm like, why is it having so much, please hold my little, there we go. Sorry, y'all. That was not how that was supposed to go. It's on a little teeny tiny tripod, and one of the legs got shortened, and then they weren't all equal, and that's what made that nonsense of what just happened. So apologies. So the thing with this particular quilt is, I hate to say it's monotonous because that's not the right phrase, but once you get in the flow of what you're making, yeah, that's what I thought. It's relatively quick, as you all have seen, even with the like stopping to iron, getting distracted by talking, what have you. And I find that if you're looking to do a smaller scale quilt, so like a baby size quilt, which in this instance, we're typically for a baby quilt, you're talking something that's about 34 by 45 inches ish, relatively speaking. So not too large. You're only doing 18 of these blocks. You will of course have to stitch all of those together. then you need to stitch the triangles that will fill in the gaps around the edge to make it actually rectangle. And then if you're going to do any top stitching, I typically do, just because it makes me feel better to feel better. I prefer to have that just so that we're stitching through from the quilt top through the batting to the backing. But as you can see, we did, so like the quilt top for this is 18 blocks. We did 8 blocks in once I was done talking at the beginning, 2-ish hour window, including the stopping to chat and stopping to respond to raids and things of that nature. I went and got the frog cap, what have you. So at the smaller scale, once you get into a flow and you're comfortable with the particular pattern, it actually goes way quicker. So when I say like the baby quilt is doable, this is something that I started sewing last night. I did 3 blocks. That's all I felt like doing. We got 8 more blocks done tonight. We're partway through the 9th, and probably tomorrow I'll finish the blocks, get all 18 done, and then it's just stitching the whole thing together for the top. Like, takes a little bit longer in the upfront because I prepped everything. I cut all of the fabric in advance so that let me start over. I cut the fabric in advance. I knew how I wanted all of the blocks to look. They're all uniform blocks in terms of where the color placement is. So I actually took the time to take everything I had cut and laid them out together so they're actually laid by block in such a way that basically when I pull the pile out, as I've been doing, it's like, okay, the first 3 fabrics on top are going to be this first row. And then the next 3 are going to be the next row. And then the next row. And then beneath that is the side piece once the 3 rows are together, which will go on one edge, and then you end with the longer strip of the sashing that will go across the bottom. So I've laid them out in such a way that when I'm ready to sew, I'm literally just pulling one at a time, and I don't have to think about, oh, which fabric do I need? Is it in the right place? Have I got the right number here? So I'd say there was probably a couple of hours of upfront work to cut it all, make sure I had the right number of pieces, do some other math because of how I was doing the 3, 3, and 3, or how I was doing the 3, 3, and 2 for the colors, and then sitting and laying them out into the 18 blocks. But this particular quilt, even the very first one of these I sewed in a week around the charity quilt that I was working on. So entirely possible, entirely plausible to do. So having said all of that, we're going to swap over to ending, and we're going to call it a night here. Let's take a quick look and see who might be online.
He's gonna, oh.
Oh no. That was too loud. Alright. How long? Hour and 25. Probably still gonna go for a bit. Okay. Sorry, I want to double check where we were going. We are gonna be going over to Michael Kritz, who is good people. And I hit enter, please and thank you. Right now, playing Magic the Gathering. I got to see Michael for the first time playing in Into the Motherlands, which was fantastic. So let's go on over there and be nice and polite, everyone. Raid call, if you should choose to use it, is #LuckyRaid. And if you're not with a Susie emote, and if you're not a subscriber, that's fine. You can use any other hi or hello emote that you have. Current plan is to be back here as usual Monday night, hopefully not working on a quilt. Let's do something else. But thank you all so much for hanging out with me as always. I appreciate you being here. So please be safe, be healthy, happy crafting, happy gaming. If you're in the Northeast and you're getting hit with the snow on Sunday like me, please be safe, and I will see you all around the internet. So have a good one.